Ben, thanks. Former CIA Deputy Director Mike Morrell said of James Foley's death, quote, "This is ISIS's first terrorist attack against the United States." Do you agree with that assessment? Was that a terrorist attack against the United States?
Well, absolutely. When you see somebody killed in such a horrific way, that represents a terrorist attack. That represents a terrorist attack against our country and against an American citizen. And I think all of us have the Foley family in our thoughts and prayers. The fact of the matter is that we've actually seen, ISIL seek to advance too close to our facilities, certainly for our own comfort. And so the President's decision to take military action a number of weeks ago was out of direct concern that if they were able to get into Erbil, that they could pose a threat to our personnel in our consulate there. So we have seen them pose a threat to our interests in the region, to our personnel and facilities in the region, and clearly the brutal execution of Jim Foley represented an affront, an attack, not just on him, but he's an American, and we see that as an attack on our country when one of our own is killed like that.
And how would you assess the threat that they pose to Americans living in the United States? Do you take their threats seriously?
Well, Kristen, we have to take their threats seriously. To date, they have operated much like an insurgency in Syria and Iraq. And again, they're deeply rooted in the insurgency that we faced in Iraq for many years as the legacy organization of al-Qaeda in Iraq. And they have, of course, posed a huge threat to the people in that region. And it's important to underscore, as the President did yesterday, the other day, that it's not simply the threat they pose to the United States, it's the threat that they pose to the entire world. And they've killed thousands of civilians, and they've killed Muslims more than any other faith. So whatever pretense they have to establish themselves as speaking for the Muslim world, I think is completely disproven by their actions in that part of the world. For Americans in the homeland, I think what we'd say is we monitor very closely whether or not ISIL will seek to develop plots that are aimed at the West, aimed at beyond this geographic area where they've been operating. We are doing that. We're actively consulting with European partners about how to watch the threat that they could pose to the West. We take their threats seriously because we have to take every threat that's made against the United States seriously. And we're going to deal with that through our, again, the action and the strategy we have in the region to squeeze them. We're also dealing with it through Homeland Security, and the President is going to convene at the head of state level a UN Security Council meeting in September to deal with the issue of foreign fighters who are heading to Syria, because we're concerned about the ability of foreign fighters to come from Western countries and seek to come back.